Greetings, car fanatics. A lot of SUVs claim to do it all, but can they really? I think the Porsche Cayenne Turbo gets pretty close. I really love my 2008 Porsche Cayenne Turbo. It's fast, it has great on-road handling, it can handle the twisties, but additionally it's very capable off-road. Today I'll be talking about the many features that make the Porsche Cayenne Turbo a great off-road vehicle. The first thing that makes the Cayenne a good off-road vehicle is its fancy all-wheel drive system. The Cayenne's all-wheel drive system sends 38% of the power to the front and 62% to the back. While the Cayenne uses open differentials, which is not optimal for maximizing traction, it overcomes it with its Porsche Traction Management System. Before I explain how the Porsche Traction Management System works, let's talk about the problem with open differentials. When sending power, open differentials like to take the path of least resistance. If you have an all-wheel drive vehicle with open differentials, all it could take to get you stuck is one wheel in the front and one wheel in the back not having traction. In this example, the differentials would try to send power to the wheels that don't have traction rather than sending them to the correct wheels that do have traction. With this type of all-wheel drive setup, you can also get stuck if the wheels in the front or the wheels in the back don't have traction. The drivetrain tries to redirect all the power to the wheels without traction. Porsche gets around this problem by using the brakes. By using the brakes and combining it with open differentials, the all-wheel drive system can lock up the wheels that are spinning and redirect the power to the wheels that do have traction. The Cayenne's all-wheel drive system can actually send up to 100% power to a single wheel. While the use of brakes to simulate limited slip differentials is now being used on many all-wheel drive systems, this wasn't very common back in 2002 when Porsche first came out with the Cayenne. The second thing that makes the Cayenne a good off-road vehicle are its locking differentials. The Porsche Cayennes come standard with a center locking differential. By locking the center differential, it forces the wheels in the front and the wheels in the back to spin at the same rate. This also changes the power distribution between the front and the back to 50-50. To give the Cayenne even more capability, some people opted for the off-road package, which also gives you a locking differential in the back. The next standard feature which gives the Cayenne good off-road capabilities is its 2-speed transfer case, which gives you a low range. In the low range, you're going to have better control of your car going over obstacles, you're going to have more torque, and you're going to be able to modulate the throttle better. And finally, the Cayenne Turbo's standard air suspension gives you extra ground clearance when you need it. The air suspension allows you to raise and lower the car. Here I have the car in the lowest setting. This is great for loading things in the car. It's about 2.5 inches lower than the stock height. Now we're going to raise the car to the low height. The low height is good for performance. It sits about 1 inch lower than the normal height. Now we're going to raise the vehicle up to the normal height level. This gives the vehicle 8.6 inches of ground clearance. In the normal level, once you exceed 78 miles per hour, the car will automatically lower itself to the low level setting. The next level up is the terrain height. This gives the car an additional 1 inch of ground clearance, but we're going to skip that and go to the highest setting, which is the special terrain mode. This gives the car 2 inches of ground clearance over the stock height, raising the ground clearance to approximately 10.7 inches. Alright, so we see the Cayenne has a lot of cool features that makes it very off-road capable, but how does it stack up against a true off-road champ? Let's see how a Cayenne Turbo stacks up against a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. Starting with ground clearance, the Cayenne Turbo has 10.7 inches of ground clearance in the highest setting compared to the Jeep Wrangler's 10.1 inches of ground clearance. Now let's talk about the key off-road angles. Starting with the departure angle, the Cayenne Turbo has 25.4 degrees of departure angle versus the Jeep's 32.1 degrees. Surprisingly, when we look at the breakover angle, we see that the Cayenne Turbo actually has a better breakover angle than the Jeep Wrangler. Finishing up with the approach angle, the Jeep Wrangler has a superior approach angle of 42.2 degrees versus the Cayenne's 31.8 degrees of approach. Next, in terms of locking differentials, the Jeep gets another point. While the Cayenne can have up to 2 locking differentials, the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon has 3. Moving on to the low range, both vehicles have low ranges, so both cars get 1 point. The next category is the sway bar disconnects. The Jeep Wrangler Rubicons do come with electronic sway bar disconnects. I think many people don't know this about the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, but if you actually find one with the Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control option, which are active hydraulic sway bars, when you put the car in off-road mode, it will actually automatically disconnect the sway bars for you to give you a little bit more articulation. So pretty cool here, but we're going to go ahead and give half a point to the Jeep Wrangler. And finally, I had to throw in another category to help the Cayenne regain some ground on the Jeep Wrangler, and that's towing. The Cayenne actually has a 7,700-pound towing capacity, which is huge compared to the Jeep's 3,500 towing capacity. So let's give the Jeep half a point, and let's give the Cayenne 1 point. Alright, so there you have it, car fanatics. As you can see, the Cayenne Turbo is an extremely capable off-road vehicle. While it might not be as capable as the Jeep Wrangler, it's going to allow you to explore off the beaten path and really see what Mother Nature has to offer. In terms of finding a luxury performance SUV that's a lot of fun to drive on-road that has off-road chops, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better SUV than the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. Well, thanks for watching, car fanatics. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Leave any questions or comments below.